What's up everyone, Master Fox here today, and we're talking about magicians. Looking at the recent results, it's honestly quite odd to me that magicians as a deck have simply fallen off entirely from the face of the competitive scene. I think that the deck is still very strong in this metagame, with the ability to access basically every method of summoning. Of course, I do know that just because you can fuse, synchro, and XYZ, that in no way guarantees your success as a deck. But this deck should most certainly do better than it currently is doing, even with the slight hits that they had to Joker as well as the Perform Age engine for those that used it. I think that a good way to evaluate a deck is to look at the possible matchups that it would face as its competition and then theorize as to how these decks face against each other head to head. Let's start with the big dog of the format, Draco Pals. In terms of advantages, this is probably a matchup where magicians don't really have any sort of advantage over Draco Pals. Draco Pals are basically faster, more consistent, and can make bigger fields and have better recovery. I guess it's not a good sell for magicians here, when Draco Pals are in essence the far superior pendulum deck. That isn't to say that they can't win against them though. Wavering wars are still a very real thing, and the last wavering eyes will still win the duel in this matchup. This analysis isn't looking too good for magicians right off the bat, but maybe it has stronger matchups elsewhere. Against monarchs, I'd say that this is one of their better matchups, to be honest. Dominion is a concern for sure, but it's not too big of a deal for magicians to deal with, as they have easy access to Dragon Pit, which can out the field spell with ease. Outside of Dragon Pit, in some cases, they can even use Dragon Pulse to out the lock as well, essentially giving the deck two highly searchable inherent outs to the Monarch lock. If one of the most threatening plays for Monarchs can be dealt with in such a swift manner, it seems to be almost favorable to the magicians. Even Vanities and Majesty's Fiend are not death sentences due to the fact that Dragon Pulse exists. However, the lack of March and Majesty's or Vanity's Fiend can be problematic. But this is hardly a good counter-argument in my opinion, as most meta decks actually do have problems with this lock anyways. Now then, looking to the Burning Abyss matchup, I would have to say that this can be quite difficult for magicians to handle. Burning Abyss's powerful floating makes magicians have a tough time to break through their boards. Plus the fact that Fire Lake can wreck magicians' setup, especially if they chain it to a Wavering Eyes, this means that magicians do have to be wary to play around heavy back row. In general, this most certainly is one of the more difficult matchups for magicians, and I would have to say that Burning Abyss does have the advantage here, taking it maybe 6 out of 10. For the Cosmo matchup, this can go either way, though I think that a big weapon that magicians can use is Meteor Burst. This card can put in a lot of work in this matchup, and overall, this matchup isn't really bad for either party per se. Across the board, there doesn't seem to be any reason as to why magicians have simply dropped off the face of the meta, other than the fact that people aren't really playing the deck as much. While it's true that Draco Pals are the superior pendulum deck, magicians' ability to use cards like Apex Avian and Magispector Kieran makes the deck still rather dangerous. In my opinion, magicians are still a good contender in this meta, and it's just that I think players, for the large part, aren't really using the deck and preferring Draco Pals over magicians, since they're both similar in many ways, both being pendulum based, although they do have many differences as well. So that's pretty much it for this video. These are just some of my thoughts as to why magicians are kind of disappearing from the meta. So tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you guys agree? Do you disagree? Give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you.